Oh, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Apologies for the delay. Apologies for those that missed us last week. We've been out. There's been, as you guys have seen, there's been a whole lot going on with this virus that's still very alive. And just with work and people trying to figure things out, and this holiday season that's upon us.
And the election too.
Election, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But we are back. It's your boy G, alongside my boy Alec for another episode of Section.300. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for checking us out again. For you guys on YouTube, make sure you drop a subscription for us on Apple Podcasts and things. Definitely thank you for checking us out. Follow us on Twitter at Section300Pod and on IG Section.300. And we're back today. I know for the last few weeks, we've been talking about all things NFL, and we're going to actually get back to that shortly. But a big thing that we're fans of is the NBA. And the season ended a few weeks ago, and because of all the stuff going on, like we mentioned, they're getting right back to it. And December 22nd, they're getting started with their season again. So because of how quick they're turning things around, there's a whole lot of stuff that's already starting to happen regarding movement and guys getting traded potentially and all kinds of stuff that we had to talk about before we get on to things going on in the NFL. So, Alec, just how you even got a chance to, you have the jersey shirt on, but how you even got a chance to enjoy the Lakers championship yet? Or like, how you feel about how all this is playing out right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think that along with the Dodgers one, LA is definitely feeling like the city of champions again. So that's
as you know, apologies for the hat. It just matched the jacket. That's all. You know, I rock with the LA though. Go ahead.
I respect it. I respect it. But yeah, feeling like city of champions again. I think LA is reveling in the championship win for the Lakers for sure. It's been a long decade, a drought for us. So I think it still feels good. But yeah, I think we only get like 70-some days in between that game 6 and the start of this next season. So it's going to be a short rest. But I was also like reading back on like LeBron too, like, typically, he only has like 90 days or so off because he usually plays into the finals as well too, and so like he doesn't really have those super long off seasons. Like he gets right back to work anyway, working on his body with the HGH. And,
a little bit extra.
He keeps himself in shape. I think him and those other veteran guys are going to be all right. Yeah.
To the first question with the Lakers. It has been weird because we haven't got a chance to have a parade and a final moment to celebrate the guys and their victory. So I still, it's like we won the championship, but it's like with how quick we're getting back to it, it's like great. But now we're already turning towards next season. So it's definitely a weird situation, but we're all dealing with it and we'll go forward accordingly. Now for this upcoming season, you mentioned the LeBron and guys having to figure out how to adjust to this short period of time. LeBron, as you mentioned, already is used to this, but still, this is even shorter than what he's accustomed to. I think they even mentioned that this jump, as you mentioned, 72 days from the end of the season to the start of the next, it's the shortest by a lot compared to the shortest seasons, breaks between seasons of any of the major sports. I think the closest, the NHL had like a holdout or something like that, and was out for like 130 days. And this is almost half of that. So it's crazy how quick they're turning things around, but we gotta do what we gotta do. And teams are already getting things rolling. We're hearing about a lot of trade scenarios and people trying to switch things up with the drafts coming up as well. And the first thing we gotta address, actually, because news is kind of breaking as we are recording right now. Russell Westbrook and James Harden out in Houston have a new coach there, and then Mike D'Antoni's out the way. But even with that, there's potentially a lot of shakeup there. Both of them are possibly looking at being on new rosters next year, with Russ actually demanding a trade today. So we will see where he goes next. I think I mentioned it when he was up to be traded when he was on the Thunder a while ago. I would have loved to see him go to New York and be the face of that franchise as they try to turn things around, or just be the guy that finally gets people back in the arena for a little while as they find their next guy. So he definitely would be a great fit. And before I get to other ones, I'll throw it to you on who you think, where you think he could end up.
Yeah, it's funny because last time I remember when he was up, I actually called him going to the Rockets. Like, not a lot of people.
I'll give you that one.
Happened, I was like, oh shit! But I think the Knicks probably is. I don't even know if I'd say the best fit. I think it's a place where I'd like to see him go.
Yeah.
The best fit basketball wise, I'm not sure because we've seen different setups and like how he plays next to all-star guys. Like he might need to be somewhere where like the second star isn't like as ball dominant,
right?
As he is. Just the way he plays, like he drug that OKC team to the playoffs, that 6th seed when he was the first one to average a triple-double since Oscar Robertson and all that. So, best fit, I'm not sure, but I think I would like to see him in a Knicks uniform. I think it would bring a new vibrancy to the Mecca, as they call it, in New York, and maybe potentially get them back to a playoff team.
It's a new vibrancy, but it's also a flashback to the old and the way he plays. That very aggressive play style and his just how confident he is on the court. It just screams New York as I have it on now. So I think that definitely is a great fit. Hopefully when he goes there, Tibbs doesn't run him to the ground. But again, as someone who's as active on the court as he is, and you mentioned him having the year averaging a triple-double, if anyone that could keep up with Tibbs, I think it's Russ. So I think that actually could be a match made in heaven if it actually works out. Elsewhere. Go ahead.
I don't like there was a rumor that he could potentially go to the Clippers. Like that sounds like an awful.
Time out. Don't go there yet. Don't go there yet because we smoked that pack a while ago, and we have more stuff to talk about them.
There's a lot left in that pack.
We're definitely get back to that pack in a minute. Right. But elsewhere, I really don't know where else I see him. To be honest, it would have to be a place, as you mentioned, that doesn't have a ball dominant star already, and most teams these days already have one. So unless he's going to another rebuilding place, Charlotte or something, which I don't know why they would do that trade, but somewhere like that, I really don't know why any of these top tier or trying to beat top tier teams will go for him right now because he kind of changes the system when he steps on the court. So we got to see.
Yeah. I was just trying to think of the different teams in my head, some of the playoff teams that maybe could help them get over the edge or something. But
I don't know. But we will stay in Houston for a second, though. And with Russ demanding a trade, Russ is best friends before he was even there with James Harden. And for him to be there only for a year and already trying to split ways, Harden could now be looking for the same thing, especially as I mentioned, brought in new coaching things. What do you think? What do you think Harden should do next? Should he just stay and try to work it out or try to go elsewhere?
Well, from the rumors, it was saying that like both Russ and Harden have some concerns about where the organization is going in the immediate future moving forward. So it sounds like Russ and like Harden hasn't been like taking phone calls, I guess, from people in the organization as well too. So he's clearly frustrated. So it sounds like they both want out. And I mean, I think it would make sense for the Rockets to get the most value out of him that they can. I don't know if his contract is up after this year, because he's been talked about in trades before this period. But for the Rockets, like the system that you've put in place hasn't worked to this point. Daryl Morey is gone now, so you have the chance to go in a completely new direction, and I think it would best suit them, and it would probably best suit Harden as well. Again, I'm not sure exactly what team would be the best fit. We heard, I think there was 3 different places, like the Nets and what were the two?
I think the Nets, the Sixers, and I forgot the last team. I think it might have been the Clippers also, actually. But I can't remember off the top of the head. I might have to pull it up. But there's 3 teams he's potentially looking at, and there's plenty of other teams that could put together a nice package that would be intriguing for Houston.
The hot take I had a package. I just thought of that.
Say that again.
The Nuggets should put together a package. They have a deep roster.
Yeah, and they, like we said, they have 2 already A minus type guys there. You put James Harden in that mix with him willing to play within a system like that, and it could be a crazy fit. Yeah, because they're overloaded. Like they have so much. They don't know what to do with all that talent they have right now. So might as well
like 10 guys.
Flip it to one guy that'll get the job done for them. So we'll see. When the news first broke about James Harden potentially looking at Brooklyn, and I'm trying to be careful with this right now. Listen,
I really want to hear where you're going with.
It's just how I presented this is funny because I'm wearing a New York hat still.
Right.
Whatever. I've been a fan of Brooklyn.
Miami was the third team. My bad.
Yes. Okay. Still, that could be very nice as well.
Mm-hmm.
What I was saying with James Harden and the Nets. How do I even say this properly? I've been a fan of Brooklyn for a long while now, as we have documented on here. They've kind of been my official 1B team.
That was because of D'Angelo, right?
That was largely because of D'Angelo, and I was gonna jump ship and kind of follow D'Angelo as I kind of still am. But I just stuck to them, especially when they got KD and Kyrie, who I'm big fans of, as well afterwards. If they add Harden, it's like, how do you not root for this squad? And this is not really a full hot take. I'm not putting them above nobody. I'll never put them above the Lakers, but I'm going to be very intrigued. I'm going to have a lot of attention to be focused on Brooklyn next season, even if they don't get Harden. I'm very excited for what's going on over there. So, yeah, I think that would be a crazy fit. We talk about Russ being ball dominant. I don't know how Harden would really actually fit in there because he is someone.
Well, Harden came
at 1A. I think Kyrie, even though we talked about how comfortable he is, and
Harden and KD have played together.
Right. But I'm saying, and Harden was still developing into the guy we see now, so it's a little different. Now Harden being the superstar talent that he is, being alongside two other guys with the same kind of somewhat of the same persona as him. I don't know how all three of them work together. Right. But it definitely will be fun to watch, and I definitely be glued to that. If it happens, even if it don't, like I said, I'm a big fan of what they got going on over there. But yeah,
what was the hot take?
I was just saying I'm gonna be watching a lot of Brooklyn games. I'm not putting them above no Lakers or nothing like that. Okay. I'm not trying to make no dramatic claims. Again, Lakers are always my squad. But I'm saying I'm gonna be watching Brooklyn a whole lot next season as well. That's all I was really trying to say. So
I thought you had a spicy take for us. That's why.
Well, I mean, if you want to take, I can see Brooklyn going to the finals either way, which ain't that hot. I would take because I see a lot of people saying the same thing. But yeah, those were, I guess, the only two sentiments I had to share with that. So yeah, I'm excited for that, and we shall see. Him going to the Heat could be very intriguing. We see how things worked over there. And before we go to the next person I want to ask about, with all these trade rumors going on, with Russ possibly on the move, with Harden on the move, with the Heat, as I mentioned, potentially trying to shake things up there as well. Something got asked right after the Clippers blew it to the Nuggets. I asked, was this the end of small ball? And I've yet to see anything that disproves that. A lot of these small ball teams are damn near blowing things up. The Heat are thinking about moving things around. They're talking about maybe not resigning Bam, maybe trying to get or trying to trade him elsewhere or things like that. I've heard where there's been some hesitancy to get Bam back on the roster. The Rockets were the face of small ball, the current small ball in the league, and they're now blowing things up. Who else was small ball? There's a few teams. The Celtics were somewhat small ball. They had Tice at down low, and he didn't really work out as best they would have liked. And they're trying to trade for a top 10 pick and things. So as I said then, do you agree now that this may be the end of small ball and we're getting back to valuing the big men as I think we should have from the jump?
I mean, it's tough to say that it's the end of small ball because with the Rockets, I would say that was analytics ball. Like they were playing based off of the analytics department, which Morey relied heavily on, and playing to only shooting layups and threes and not going like for mid-range jumpers and basically playing only strictly in the paint or shooting threes. And that kind of style of play kind of cheats the game a little bit. Yeah. So, for them, I think they just needed a complete like rebrand because the Harden ISO dribble kick out for a three is like became very predictable. With small ball, I don't know that like small ball had really taken over the league. Like, yes, some teams.
I was just saying that it was. I was just saying before you even get there, the teams that were leading that charge are already blowing things up. So is that it may still be used in short stints, but a team built on small ball, I don't think that's going to happen any further.
Yeah, well, I think like teams built on like kind of like how the Celtics are built as far as athletic wings that can defend and shoot and can switch everything. I think more of that because like there are elite big men, but they're kind of like a dime a dozen. Like there's only like for sure I guess 5 like I could list right now. They're like big men that change the complexion of a game. But I think majority of the elite players in the league are the wing guys. So I think it's going to move towards more of that, like the athletic wings kind of being the dominant forces in the league as opposed to small ball or big men.
I guess what I'm saying is it's already been that. But even if you have dominant guards, you need a big, a true big down low.
Yeah, I think you always need one true big. Yeah.
Yeah, because with AD still hitting his prime, with Giannis still trying to make things happen, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons out in Philly, still trying to work things out. That there are these big men or these tweeners, whatever you want to call them, that change how the guards play and really impact the game. And we saw how important AD was in these finals and the size just across the board for the Lakers. And I think that's going to be more of the trend going forward rather than having these small teams, because having PJ Tucker versus Anthony Davis, you can't have that no more. Teams want some big guys that can go up against the elite bigs as well, regardless of their elite talents, like you're mentioning, because there's only a select few. But just having somebody down there with some size that can keep up with the elite ones is what I see going forward. So yeah,
the key is like having a big man that can like play like a wing, like because that's what AD is. Like he grew up playing point guard, so he has like a really good ball handle. He's still not the greatest passer, but he's an elite scorer. So having guys like that can stretch the floor, like can shoot from 3, which obviously the game is moving more towards centers and power forwards trying to jack up threes and stuff. So having guys that are elite at playing skillfully like a guard, but are 6'10" or whatever. So
yeah, we shall see. I'm very intrigued by that. As we mentioned, having those big guys, the big guys though cannot do it alone. You have to have a nice point guard, somebody alongside them, and a guard that has shown for years now that he can help whoever else is alongside him is Chris Paul. And he's potentially on the move again from the Thunder. A lot of teams are looking his way, and rumors are he could be going to the Suns. That could be pulled as soon as the trade market opens up, or elsewhere. Where you see Chris Paul going in the future, or where would you like to see him go next season?
I thought they said that he'd shown some interest. Milwaukee, I thought would be a great place for him to go. I felt that Milwaukee needed a point guard that could score a little and could shoot a little bit better than Bledsoe. Bledsoe's a really good defender, but he's kind of let them down in the playoffs shooting.
Yeah, I was disappointed. We talked about him. We talked about him and highlighting him and how he needs to step up, and he didn't really do that. So yeah, we'll see.
And someone who could create and run the pick and roll, and I think Chris Paul would be like perfect for that. Alongside Giannis. Giannis isn't someone who's like looking to play with a bunch of other stars, but I think he would respect like a veteran point guard like CP3.
Definitely.
So I thought that would be one of the better situations for him. The Suns would work really well too. They already have Rubio, so I feel like Rubio would have to be in that trade, or they'd have to make another move with Rubio because he'd be wasting him, in my opinion. Like, I know OKC played with Shea playing point guard as well too, so they could potentially try that with Rubio and
Rubio had to go.
No, I would think you would want to move Rubio if you're making a trade for CP3, and with him on the Suns, I think that's definitely a playoff team. Like we saw them on the brink of it this year, but CP3 and Booker and Ayton and some of those younger wing guys who can shoot and play defense, and Monty Williams at the head, I think that would definitely threaten for an 8 seed again if that were to happen. So
I would love to see the impact that Chris Paul has on DeAndre Ayton. Ayton already is still a young big on the rise. I think having a veteran point guard like him, though Rubio has already, as you mentioned, done somewhat of that. I think Chris Paul's is much more impactful than Rubio is, and would do wonders for Ayton's game. So I love to see that, even beyond what Devin Booker already is doing alongside him. So yeah, that would be a great fit. People were talking about he has eyes for New York and LA, the Lakers. I mean, we'll take him, but I don't know at this point.
I don't love CP3 personally. Like, I respect his game. We just talked about the great player he is, but I'm not personally a fan of his. I think not everybody wins in this league, but he hasn't proven to be a winner as well too. I think obviously alongside LeBron, he would get done. But
with our situation, it's a little bit different because with LeBron and AD there, we have enough winners that if you're not a winner, you come alongside us and become one. So it's a little bit different. Just fit wise though. Yeah, I feel like we can find some guy in the draft or something like that that can do enough at the point guard spot with what we already have, rather than having to go all in for a guy like Chris Paul. So that's why I'm not really for it.
I think he's close to $40 million too, which I forget sometimes. Like, his contract is hefty, and I don't want to pay CP3 that much.
That shifts the roster.
Yeah,
that shifts the roster a whole lot. So you got to move some other guys that I'd rather not move. So yeah, as you're saying, I'm off that. But the other LA team, I guess Kawhi is calling for Chris Paul, and
that's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. However, it just makes me look at Kawhi funny, because as we now have seen, he, as great as he is, he needs help. We always again, yes. I guess my thing is, as I mentioned, with Kawhi versus Luka in the playoffs, Kawhi not getting the same critique as LeBron. When LeBron asks for any help, we slander him to death. Are you the greatest player on earth? Why you ask for all this help? Yada yada yada. When Kawhi asks for help, it's like, oh, it makes sense, and I see that fit. Kawhi, if Kawhi, again, if he is the best player in the world, as many raved he was, which has been, I think we all kind of disagree with that now with what we've seen most recently. Mm-hmm. For him now calling for other stars to help him, even with the roster that he already has, the roster should have got the job done last season. You don't need any more help. You guys need to go and perform. So you guys calling for Chris Paul and Paul George potentially on the move again. It's like Kawhi, quietly his whole career, if you look at it, has needed a whole lot of help. He had that Spurs great team that he was a part of. When he went to Toronto, he had great pieces there that are helping him, alongside the injuries that happened in Golden State, which propelled them. And then now, when he really is somewhat of an even playing field, things aren't really working out for him as they once did. So it's making me look at Kawhi a little bit different as things continue to unfold. And yeah, it's he's starting to look a lot more funny in the light as time continues to unfold. So yeah, I don't think they need him. If they do pull the trigger on that, so be it. And y'all better get it done then, if that's the case. So again, we'll see. Because the Clippers, man, they just continue to amaze me in the worst ways.
I would say that would be addressing a need that they have, though, because like right now their starting point guard is Patrick Beverley, and like Kawhi or PG could do the ball handling, but that puts more pressure on them. Like, not everybody is LeBron. Like, you made the comparison to LeBron as far as him asking for help, and we get on him. We get on him because like he's the self-proclaimed GOAT, and people have been calling him the GOAT for years, and like he's won rings, and like so LeBron just has like expectations crazier than anyone else in the league, like ever. I think like I don't know. I don't think he even put like that type of pressure on Mike back then. LeBron just held to like a different standard, and we even like aren't huge fans of him, but we hold him to a high standard as well too. So I think we have given criticism when he's saying we need more playmakers or whatever, but everybody needs help, like even LeBron. So like I understand seeking to improve at point guard when Patrick Beverley is not getting the job done, and Reggie Jackson is not getting the job done. Mm-hmm. And other guys like Harrell is probably going to get paid and go somewhere else too. Like, So they're gonna have to reconstruct the roster a little bit, and I wouldn't see that. I see that helping significantly getting a guy like CP3.
My thing was not about helping. I definitely know that helps. My point is just that Kawhi, just the critique of Kawhi, because the report said that Kawhi possibly was the one putting in calls like he did for Paul George, I guess. Putting in, I want to get Chris Paul over here. He'd be great just into the roster or whatever, trying to orchestrate that some kind of way. For Kawhi to be the guy that we herald him to be, calling for all this help is
who do we herald him to be? That's what.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What we once heralded him to be. He once was the guy you could put somewhere and he would take you there. But in reality, you have to put him somewhere that already has a lot of pieces as well. And we kind of glossed over that because because Kawhi seemed to be so dominant. But with all the help that he's always had, it's just not fun. It's just not funny when you compare him just to the treatment to other greats. We talk about Giannis and him trying to be in that LeBron type conversation and him needing help and LeBron himself, anytime he asks for help, we critique him, as I mentioned. So Kawhi, when he starts doing that, he doesn't seem to receive the same criticism. Now, just again, as I've been doing, just trying to even the playing field. So that was my biggest thing. So
I mean, he's still top 5 to me. Like that hasn't changed.
Sure. So we'll see if the Clippers can turn that shit around, because it's just for some reason it still ain't working over there. So we'll see what they can figure out. But across the rest of the league, there are other things going on. Beyond Chris Paul, that whole Thunder squad is being blown up. Danilo Gallinari is trying to get on the move as well. As we mentioned, they're going full rebuild. So a lot could be happening there. And yeah, where else you want to address with the NBA? Because there's the draft.
We got the draft coming up. Draft coming up on the 18th. So a week from today. And that should be interesting to see if teams are going to make trades to get up higher in the draft. I think the Warriors have that number 2 pick, right? And number 1. Right. So it'd be interesting to see if they make trades with those picks or decide to go ahead and select whoever. But who are you thinking potentially should go number 1?
For Minnesota, I would definitely take Anthony Edwards. I said go with him and fit him there. I think LaMelo, as great as he is not fully pass first, but he's somewhat in that same kind of Lonzo type game where Lonzo now can score a little bit, but he's much more facilitator. And D'Angelo Russell's already there and doing that point guard spot. And now if you have a 2 guard that you can give him the ball and say take us there, and he'll do that. I think he's a great fit alongside D'Angelo and Cat there. So yeah, that's what I would do there. Then I put James Wiseman in Golden State, and then LaMelo next. So that's how I would see it if guys don't get traded. Rumors are both those squads are looking to potentially add a star rather than one of these young guys that they're trying to get more into a win-now situation. So if they don't go young, they could flip it for whoever guys are in the rumor mill. Giannis potentially is in the rumor mill, as we mentioned a few times. So we'll see if somebody pulls trigger and makes that happen. But yeah, I think that there's going to be some trades that happen on draft night, and I'm very intrigued on how it all goes down. How you see it playing out? Yeah,
I thought you laid it out really well. I'm not sure what happens, whether they trade him or not. I think Wiseman was the most talented player, honestly. I think his stock, I guess, has dropped a little bit because he didn't play. Like, he only played a couple games in the NCAA because of violations, whatever. They kind of did him dirty. Right. And I think that's the only reason, like, his draft stock has taken, like, a baby hit. But I think he's still the best. And I've seen rumors that potentially Minnesota could still draft him, even though they have Cat. So I think I would say Wiseman as the number 1.
I've heard that too, but how does that work? You make, I
don't know. And sometimes the best player on the board and it's not necessarily like about fit.
Okay, but I think Anthony Edwards has enough of an argument to also be considered the best player on the board as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like all 3. I think Anthony Edwards is the most complete scorer right now. I think Wiseman obviously is a freak. He's like 7'1", big man, and can shoot a little bit. Melo, really good playmaker, and high ceiling, all three of them. So yeah, I don't think you could really go wrong, but based off the fits, like, yeah, I think Wiseman would be really good with the Warriors because they need a big man. Yeah. I think Anthony Edwards or Melo would be good in Minnesota. But yeah.
Who's in that third spot? I blanked on that.
Yeah, I blanked on that too. I thought I was hoping you would know. I was like, it's like Atlanta, but I feel like they're a little farther, like 4 or something.
Yeah, and they're trying to trade. I think they're trying to trade into the spot or trade out. I forgot, but they're looking to trade as well and try to really get that rebuild starting going too, because they're trying to get Trey Young some wins also. So we'll see how it all plays out. I'm very intrigued. That's next week. We'll definitely cover it.
The third spot.
Say that again.
It says the Hornets have the third spot.
Oh, the Hornets.
Charlotte, yeah.
Just take anybody. Y'all need help. So I don't know. Take anybody. So yeah, I'm very intrigued by that. All of that. Like I said, we'll definitely be back around to talk about it all. Lastly, and most importantly, you have the Lakers shirt on, and we're big Lakers fans that talked about.
Right.
Kuz trying to get paid, and I don't think he gets paid with us. So
how you want a significant deal or whatever?
Yeah, how do you think the Lakers handle our offseason? Like, what moves would you like to see?
What I like to see, I would love to see the Ibaka signing, which is rumored to them to be pursuing.
Would you like that if Dwight stays also? Like, is that one or the other, or you think you see all of those guys on the roster?
Well, somebody would have to, like Dwight or JaVale probably would have to go, I think. Right. And I don't know. I think Dwight, because he was only on like a tentative contract. So
yeah, he was on extra.
He was really significant for us. I think JaVale would make more sense getting rid of. Well, he's 3-time champion now, which is kind of funny to say, but yeah, probably getting rid of JaVale if you were going to sign Ibaka. And I would love an Oladipo trade. I've heard rumors of that potentially, like packaging Kuz and Danny Green in a pick for Oladipo. I've heard rumors of them seeking to maybe go after DeMar DeRozan, but Popovich is never trying to help the Lakers, so I doubt that happens.
Right.
But yeah, I'd love to go after Oladipo. That we have that third star there, and Ibaka. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, all the rumors I've heard have been things I'd like to see, as you mentioned as well. So if Kuz wants his money, he's not getting it here. We definitely use.
Or he might get it and get a sign and trade.
Yeah, sure. Take the money and go. That's fine. Yeah, after what we last saw, I was very happy that he was one that we at least have to keep him. When we traded for Anthony Davis, we have to keep him. Kuz at least.
Keep one of our young draft picks.
What he's done since then has not been pleasing, to say the least. So the lack of growth or the focus on too much focus on other things, it seems like has bothered us. We say the same thing about LeBron when he was here doing moves and stuff. If you're not here trying to get wins, we don't send you somewhere else where you can do all the stuff. So we'll see where he ends up, or if he stays here. Say it again.
I thought about too, like we were talking about the Clippers and seeking to get CP3, but also a guy on our roster, Rondo, was rumored to potentially be interested in going to the Clippers and playing there. So that's another piece that we'll see what happens, but he could potentially have suitors in other organizations looking to sign him.
No loyalty.
Clearly not, because he went with the
Lakers. He don't care. He's like, just pay me and give me rings. So hey, if he goes there, so be it. He definitely costs a lot less than Chris Paul while doing at least somewhat of the same thing. So that could be a good fit for the Clippers, and we'll see. But I think if that's where his mind's at, him and Dwight and a few others may be gone next year. And I'm excited for who we replace them with. Excuse me.
And with that, we have Taylor Horton-Tucker on the roster who should see a rise in minutes and usage. So that'll be dope to see.
Definitely. We found other young guys. Caruso's still kind of a young guy. He looks 45, but he's young too. So
AD's 26 or something like that. So AD's still young too. So.
Yeah. So we got guys. So one more piece, Oladipo type or whoever, is just icing on the cake. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited for it all, and we'll definitely be back to talk about everything. Anything else you want to just real quick?
I think we're good on NBA. Oh, your boy Drew too has also been in trade rumors as well. I was wondering where you like to see him go.
I've seen a lot of rumors to the Hawks. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of rumors to Houston and other places. Pretty much every team looking like trades has him on their radar. I think he's been one of the more underrated guys in the league the last couple of years, and he'd be a great fit wherever he goes, since the Pelicans don't seem to be wanting to retain him. So, yeah, I'm just rooting for him wherever he goes next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I like those places. I've seen the Nuggets rumored as well, too. I think Philly as well, too. So
the Nuggets should make a trade. As you say, I was going to say it again, just to reiterate, the Nuggets should make a trade. Just all that I know it looks really good to have the overabundance of talent.
Yeah.
But if you just put together a winner, just get that solid top tier guys on your roster and roll, y'all will be special. So yeah, we shall see. I'm excited for this offseason. It's gonna be short, but it's gonna be crazy even with the time we have. So again, we'll be back to talk about it all as we've been doing as well. We'll be back shortly actually to talk about all things NFL as well as you go to week 9 and 10. And thank you guys again so much for watching. Follow us on IG at Section.300. Follow us on Twitter, Section.300 Pod. I'm your boy G. Follow me online, just say G. Follow me with Alec online, Alec R. Foster, and LakersFan24 on Twitter, as his tag says there. And yeah, we'll see you guys again very soon. Appreciate you guys. We out of here, man. Peace.
Deuces.